Hello there. I'm Shrikant Acharya, founder and CEO at thehomeoffice.in. Welcome to the third episode of Office 2.0, the future of Office. It's been great fun. We've interviewed two very interesting people in the last couple of weeks, and today I have another very exciting interview lined up. Before I get today's interviewee online, let me take a quick few minutes to warm you guys up and give you some time to fix your mics, fix your headphones, fix the screen, and all of that stuff. So let's get to the context of today's interview and the episode, a third episode of Office 2.0. What is Office 2.0? Since March 20th, almost in the last week of March, there was a lockdown that's been announced. We all are aware about it, and suddenly it's forced all of us to start working from our homes, whether we like it or not. The home is the new office, and it's pretty interesting how we've adapted to it, right? So every possible industry. I personally run a corporate gifting company, and I thought it would be impossible to manage a corporate gifting company while working from home. But right now we have more than 50% of our staff working from home, and we are doing all right. That's we're not doing bad at all. And I came across so many companies who've adapted to this situation in really interesting ways. And what came out of that for us is the homeoffice.in, which is an e-commerce website where we list products that are specifically designed to enable people to work from home. The challenge that all of us have in the current situation is, most of us, if you're working in a large corporate or in an office, the office environment has been designed to keep you focused and to keep all of us efficient at work, right? You come home, you're not worried about your kids. Your kids are probably at school or in their play homes. You're not worried about the cooker whistle or the mixie noises and any of those kind of things. You're not worried about a lot of things. You're completely focused on your work, and the environment is also like that, right? It's like great meeting rooms, great cooling, unquestionable quality of Wi-Fi and network, and all those kind of things have been designed to keep you 100% focused and efficient at work. Now suddenly we've been thrown out of that environment, and we're forced to work from home with kids screaming, with the delivery boy ringing the bell, and all kinds of things, right? So there's good to it and there's problems with it. The good thing is traffic. No more traffic, right? It's amazing that the biggest challenge where I know people who would travel 2 hours, 3 hours, even 4 hours a day, 2 hours going to office, 2 hours coming back to office, and uh, work there for 7, 8 hours or whatever, and drive back again, and you're exhausted by the time you come home. And we've been really complaining a lot about traffic. So right now is an opportunity for us to really say goodbye to those traffic. We've heard of, we always waited for somebody to come and save us from the traffic woes, right? We thought it is metro which is going to solve that. Then we thought last mile logistics or last mile biking services like your Bounce are solving that, or Ola, Uber, all kinds of things. It's surprising that Corona should come to the rescue and solve our traffic problems, right? So the good thing is traffic. The problem is that you're missing your office. If you want to, earlier you could just walk across the corridor and speak to your colleague. Now you need to schedule a meeting, and so on, right? So now we are suddenly thrown into this kind of an environment where you're forced to work from home, right? But nobody designed their house to be an office. You designed the home for inviting friends and chilling with them, for dining, for cooking, for spending good time with the family. You had a good puja room, you had a good home theater. The homes were always designed to be great places to relax, but homes were never designed to be great workplaces, right? So that's a new challenge. Now Office 2.0 is about being able to work from home. So in this interview we are going to try to explore what are the challenges, what are the opportunities, what are the trends, what does the future look like, what does hiring look like, and all these kind of things. So before I invite the speaker, who's Giant, who's a good friend of mine, I want to tell you, hold on to questions, make notes of any questions that you have. You're going to get some amazing answers today. Towards the end, last 5, 10, 15 minutes or so, I'll open the session up for questions. So please remember your questions. Don't say I forgot when it's your turn to ask those questions. Another thing is, stay till the end because I have a gift for you. Actually, not me. Jayant has a gift for you. He's going to be giving out a very, very interesting gift for everybody who stays on till the end. Okay. And before I start this, before I bring on Jayant, I want to ask you, I want to run a quick poll here. I see, including Facebook and YouTube, there are about 20 to 30 people who are live right now. So I want you guys to write in the comment section, how many of you are loving working from home? How many of you are itching to go back to office? And how many of you feel halfway through, it will be good if sometimes I can go to office and sometimes I can work from home? So let me know what's your preference. And in a few minutes, let's see what the audience really thinks about. I'm looking, so type right now in the comments, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, type whether you love working from home, whether you want to desperately go back to office, or you'd like to keep a balance between work, home and office. So with that, let me introduce you to my friend Jayant Kolla. He's the founder at Sensate, as well as he's a current partner with Convergence Catalyst. So Jayant is, I mean, I would probably take 30 minutes to just introduce Jayant. He's got so many qualifications, and he's a super intelligent guy, right? He holds 8 patents for innovation in advanced analytics, AI, ML, IoT, and robotics domain. He's advisory board member of India's first and only artificial intelligence-based asset fund, core team member of a global AI think tank, advisor for a North American AI platform company, and a lot of these things, right? So it will really take me a long time if I had to give a good introduction for him. So Jayant, sorry about that. I'm going to cut this short and I'm going to let people know who you really are. But I love reading your articles on Mint, on money control, and a lot of other articles. It's really insightful. So with that, bringing Jayant on board. Hi, Jayant. Welcome to Office 2.0, the future of work. Okay, hold on. I think I put you're on mute. Okay, yeah. You can speak now. Sorry.
Hi, Srikanth, and hi, everyone who's here live. Thanks, and thanks for cutting it short, honestly.
All right. So let me begin with the first question. What do you think is the future of work?
Whatever people want it to be, finally. Okay, like you mentioned in your introduction, we were waiting for everything, right? The government to do its job, the metro, and all the infrastructure, the HR policies. I mean, most of the companies in Bangalore, IT services companies, anyway had a 2-day optional work from home HR policy, right? But it had to be this COVID pandemic, which forced us to stay at home. And then all of a sudden, most of the companies, everybody, managers, CEOs, realized that the business continuity, the work continuity is going on, right? Yeah. And yes, I mean, almost 3 months, working from home, everybody is itching to get out. Okay, so I think going forward, it's going to be, and like you mentioned in your introduction, right? There are always good. There's always good for people to get to office, get together, brainstorm, have those ideas, have those meetings on the fly. What can be a quick 2-minute conversation need not be a scheduled Zoom call for an hour, right? So it's going to be hybrid. That's my take, and especially in this town and the kind of work that most of the people in this town in Bangalore do, white collar knowledge workers. Earlier, it was an optional 2-day work from home. I think going forward, post this, it's going to be an optional 2-day work from office if you want.
Work from office. Right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what's your choice? What are you enjoying? Are you liking the concept and the reality of working from home, or are you itching to just get out and go start meeting people?
So honestly, for me, life hasn't changed. I've been running Convergence Catalyst, and next month, July, will turn 9 years. And we're a boutique firm. Right, we have our office. Yeah, thanks. We have our office in Cessna Business Park. When we started, our office was in HSR layout. But we are a research and consulting firm. Half the time we were anywhere working from home or at the client's office, right? And for me personally, the Bangalore traffic was always, no. So we literally used to arrange our meeting times between 12 and 4 to avoid the rush hour traffic, anytime we wanted to get to. But I personally always did a hybrid of this, right? Most of the time when I had work, when I had deliverables to do, I used to sit at home and work. When I used to do client deliverables or write those analyst notes and research reports, it was always work from home. But whenever I wanted to go meet people, I always used to head out. So I used to do exactly what I'm doing right now in the post lockdown 1.0, 2 days of stepping out, and 3 days of working from home. So for me, it hasn't changed anything, honestly.
Okay, awesome. So let's have a quick look at the poll here, which I had asked for. So I see Charles here. Hi, Charles. Hi, Adil, Nagashri, Agnel, you, Jagan, Sandhya, Boni, Shashi. Okay, a lot of responses. Thank you guys for your response. So I see missing my workspace, 1, work from home, and both 2, balancing 2, prefer going to office twice a week. That's balancing, work from home. Okay, so it looks like balance is the winner here, right? Balancing between being able.
Yeah. Did anyone say I miss my boss? I'd like to hear their name.
I would guess his appraisals are due if you would say that.
Yeah, actually, right? So yeah, balance is the key, and balance, and I would want to extend that to if I have to overlay a philosophical overlay on it, free will. I want to do what I want to do when I want to do. I mean, earlier when we were forced to go to office, everyone wanted to work from home to avoid traffic. Now we are made to sit at home and work. We are missing our colleagues. We're missing our coffee conversations and everything. So yeah, balance and free will.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. So this situation is quite unwarranted. Nobody was prepared for it, and let's sincerely hope everybody watching here is doing fine, and we should urge everyone to maintain social distancing and take care of use masks and so on. So nobody saw this situation coming, right? All these kind of situations are a boon as well as a bane, right? So what do you see it? Do you think it's caused more havoc, or do you think it's created a lot of opportunities?
I'm an eternal optimist. I mean, you and I both are entrepreneurs. You are, 16 years into entrepreneurship. We cannot do what we are doing. We cannot survive a single day of our lives if we are not eternal optimists. If you're not waking up in the morning, regardless of what's happening around the world, and say that this is going to be a rocking day. So, so extending that, I see this only as opportunity. And personally, for me, I actually, for the first time in 9 years, got some time, right? Because as an entrepreneur, making a living doing what you love, you're always running against the tide, and it doesn't matter, how long have you been running the company, Srikanth? Every day is a new day. I mean, you know this very well. I mean, we've had this in this country, a guy who's built a huge brand and a chain and a business like VG Siddhartha after Coffee Day, felt the need after 20 years to jump off a bridge, right? I mean, that's a reality of entrepreneurship in this country, right? So what this curfew and lockdown gave is it relatively, put a brakes to the rest of the world, right? To my clients, to my partners, vendors. So all of a sudden they were figuring out what's happening. And for me as an entrepreneur, it was like, okay, I got some breathing space after almost 9 years now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, and whole bunch of opportunities. I mean, the home office, what you pulled off, right? It's an opportunity. You pivoted it. This business category wouldn't have existed if not for lockdown, right? So how can we say that this is not a time of opportunities?
Absolutely. So I want to take a minute to express my gratitude to Jayant, because coincidentally, on the day before the lockdown, I think 23rd or 24th or something was the lockdown, and the day before that I had a meeting with Jayant for a totally different conversation. And out of that conversation, I was like, okay, what do we do now? Clearly events have stopped, corporate gifting has stopped. What do we do? And Jayant sparked off a few ideas, and I got going on it. And so thank you, Jayant. It was you who I thought of the home office idea about a year back, but had not really taken serious action on it. So we had the domain name. That's all that we had. The logo or nothing else was there. So you sparked that thing off, and it's turned out to be a phenomenal opportunity. The response that we're getting on the home office from consumers as well as clients is really, really amazing, because it's really the need of the hour. So thank you very much for that, Jan.
Don't mention it, man. I mean, it's wonderful how things connect, right? I mean, it was always brewing at a subconscious level to you. That's the reason you had the URL logged in more than a year ago. Okay, and this had to happen. So I think everything connects.
Okay, I see one response there from Namita who says, "I'm missing my boss." I have to find out from her when her appraisal is due. Okay, Jayan, so tell me, according to you, what are the top three trends that you're seeing because of the work from home pattern right now?
Work from home is extending to everything from home. Okay.
Yeah.
Schooling from home for kids and college students, fitness from home. Okay. People are jamming, on Zoom calls, and parties from home. Okay, nightclubs. I mean, in
Really?
London, I've seen videos of ladies dressing up on a Saturday night, turning on their Zoom call, streaming it on their big TV, and at one of the homes, the DJ playing his music. Okay, and they're all dancing in front of the TV like they're dancing in a nightclub. Okay. So partying at home, okay, getting together, card games, all this. So working from home is sort of extending to everything at home. That's the number one, trend that I'm seeing. And remote work, okay, is extending to not just home, right? It's remote anywhere. So that's giving a rise to this new segment called digital nomads, and that's more pertinent to the travel and tourism and hospitality industry. And I do a lot of work in the travel and hospitality industry. I consult a bunch of people, mostly in Europe, and have some clients in Bali as well. Okay, and they're resort owners, they are they're big 5-star this thing owners, and they're all struggling with COVID. I mean, if there's one industry that's been impacted, it's travel and tourism.
Yes.
But but we're seeing the new rise of digital nomads, right? Where these millennials and Gen Z are heading out, okay, to remote areas, okay, not just their homes outside of metros, remote areas, and working from anywhere. And the hospitality industry is seeing earlier where people used to have 4 or 5 nights, book 4 or 5 nights, now are booking anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks to stay. So that entire industry is changing its business model. So so working from home has become everything from home. Okay, remote working has become home working has become be anywhere and work. Okay, and the third is sort of, and I'm saying this right, even among knowledge workers, the de-urbanization. Okay, people are moving on to the suburbs. Okay, we have a place beyond Sarjapur town. Okay, all my neighbors who are stuck there for the last 3 months are happy. They're there as long as they have strong internet connectivity and broadband connectivity. Okay, and this obviously we've seen a lot of migrant labor move back, and some survey and a report that I've seen about 4 weeks back, the actual number is about 140 million migrant laborers got back home, and the report says about 25-30% of them will never come back. Okay, so there's this trend of creating job opportunities in the rural areas, and the de-urbanization. So the traffic, less of traffic congestion in the cities is going to be a reality.
Right.
So these are some of the trends that I observe.
Interesting. So I agree with what you say. I see a lot of ads on my Facebook and Instagram where resorts are inviting us to come and work from there. Yeah. So what did you call it?
Digital nomads.
Digital nomads, right? Love that term. It sounds like a good designation to have, right? I think a lot of LinkedIn profiles are going to have, I'm a digital nomad, and why not, right? It's a pretty interesting lifestyle to live. And yes, you're right. I know some people who moved back to their farmhouses and who are happy connecting back with nature. And I think it's been a very interesting inner journey, so to say, right? You're spending more time with yourself, more time with your family. You're learning to cook. You're learning new hobbies. New things are happening. So that's interesting. So tell me, what, according to you, are the top 3 challenges when the lockdown happened I'm sure all of us scrambled for the first couple of weeks or maybe a month or so. What were the top three challenges that you faced when it came to working from home?
What you just mentioned is both an exciting thing, opportunity, and a challenge. The biggest challenge that I see is people spending time with themselves, right? It could be a good thing and a bad thing. Depends on the company of the guy you're spending the time with, right? Here it's you. Okay.
Yeah, right.
So and as a generation, the young millennials and Gen Z, right? They have never had the opportunity or the need to do that, right? And I am seeing some of the best guys, most intelligent, extremely smart millennials, losing it because of this lockdown and spending their time with themselves. Some of the smartest entrepreneurs, some of the smartest AI engineers, right? They're great at what they do. They're extremely worldly, philosophical. They know their stuff, but loneliness is catching up with them. It's affecting their relationships, professional and personal. Okay, so that's the biggest challenge that I see. And the second thing is again what you and I discussed, right? I mean, you mentioned. Just a day before the lockdown, you and I had a meeting. I came down to your office, and the first meeting that I had once the lockdown lifted was also with you, right? And I stay in Whitefield, you in Jayanagar. I couldn't wait to cross the city to have that in-person meeting. So one of the big challenge that I see is now working from home have too many Zoom calls and too many of these virtual meetings, which I don't know if people realize it or not. There's a huge fatigue to it, right? What could have been a 2-minute or a 5-minute corridor conversation or a water cooler conversation is now a scheduled Zoom call, which need not be, okay? And there's a lot of fatigue stepping in there, and that's the next big challenge. And the third one is again, decision. A lot of psychology says 60% of all communication is non-verbal, right? If you look at it, you and I have been using our hands a lot, right? Okay, it's not what I'm saying or you're saying, the words that are coming out of our mouths, but it's actually our entire body language that denotes the genuineness, whether we mean what you're saying or not, and all of us humans have those inherent unconscious ways to pick up those signs, and those are not happening right now. That's not happening right now. Everybody is dependent on the 40% of the effective communication that is through words. But that's the third big challenge.
And a lot of us are not great with words.
Not everybody of us are. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll invite the audience here to ask any question to Jayant. I mean, he's so personally among the people I know personally whom I can pick the call and speak, he's one of the most intelligent guys, has an answer to pretty much everything, and has 2-3 versions of the answer, right? One philosophical answer, a spiritual answer, a logical answer. So you pick what answer suits you. So so please shoot your questions. In a minute, I'm going to ask those questions to him. And also, I want to ask you guys, what are you? Okay, I see Sandhya as these are the top 3 challenges: 1, poor network, no proper working environment, and work distraction. So I welcome the audience to please type the top 3 challenges that you're having as you're working from home. So I'm asking 2 things of you. 1, mention your top 3 challenges, and ask any question that you have to ask of Jayant. Right, even if it's in the space of if you have kids, you must ask him about how what's the future of education, because the way he has a very talented young daughter. She plays amazing badminton, and I'm sure she's going to be representing the country or something like that in a few more years. And the way he's brought her up is very exciting for me. So if you have kids, you should ask him about that question. While those questions pop up, Jayant, I want to ask you, a lot of people are losing jobs right now, right? So what's your advice to them? And it actually pains me when I see on social media that somebody says that Oyo has fired so many people, or Ola has fired so many people, and they invariably point to the CEO. He's saying, look, he's made millions of dollars, and It makes, we have a tendency in India that the entrepreneur in the movie is always the villain, right? He's got a mole here, and he's the guy who's plotting something really, really terrible for the entire world. So, what's your take on that? Right, people are losing jobs. One, what should they do? And two, how should they handle this situation?
Number one, don't panic. Relax.
Yeah.
It's going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right. Okay. And you and I, Shrikant, when we started our entrepreneurial journey, okay, we were in a similar situation. We let go of well-paying monthly jobs, and and had to make adjustments, right? And for us, it was a choice. And for us, luckily, honestly, I'll say very fortunately, we've had time to, to get to the stage and also have enough examples in our own lives to know that everything will be all right. I mean, we've seen ups and downs, okay, financially. Unfortunately, this, job losses, pay cuts, and furloughs driven by COVID is forcing that on people. For entrepreneurs like us, it was a choice, okay? But, what people need to take out is essentially, number one, I would say, if you have any entrepreneur in your network, in your core network, first level contact or second level contact, just talk to them, okay? Have a one-on-one conversation, man to man, all heart conversation, saying, dude, how did you manage the finances? Okay, and then what you will hear is, it's not too bad. Number one, okay, you actually need much less money than what you think you do, without actually compromising on your lifestyle to a significant extent. Okay. Number two, that things will always get back. Okay. So, and they will get back. See, the biggest villain is actually the ghost in your own mind. Yep. Okay. So right now, all you focus to do is, survive 2020. Okay. Be happy, stay with your family, pay the bills, put the food on the table, take one day at a time. Okay. Yep. And there are a lot of businesses, opportunities, and jobs opening up, already have opened up in the COVID scenario, right? At a very macro level, I'll tell you some numbers, right? Amazon has hired 175,000 new workers in US, right? Okay. So here are the numbers. I was up last 3 nights following, watching the Collision Conference of Toronto from home. One of the key, data point that I got yesterday was in US for e-commerce, it took about 10 years to get from 6% penetration to 16% penetration. In the last 10 weeks, that got up to 27% penetration. Okay, so there are new jobs being created in that industry. Okay, managers, curators, delivery guys, and whole such this one. So you might feel that if you're from a travel and tourism industry or a physical institutional education industry, you might see your your job going out. But there are other industries that are being created. Keep your eyes and ears open. And for doing all of that, first you need to do is relax. Don't panic. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Know that you're not the only one. Know that everybody, the billionaire in the world, and the migrant labor, poor guy who has to put food on the table on a daily basis, on a daily wage worker, are in the same thing. I mean, yes. We are in the same boat. I mean, our stresses are the same. Okay. So there's no rat race now. Most importantly, there's no rat race now. Okay, you don't have to do anything to anything. Just survive, take one day at a time, and it's going to be all right.
Right. Perfect. So I think that's great piece of advice. I love the fact that you said stay calm. That is the most important thing. I think it's Om Shanti Om, in which Shah Rukh Khan says, "Agar ending happy nahi hua, to ye picture abhi baki hai mere dost." So this is just a blip. Even if you lose your job or you're not able to pay your rent or whatever the situation that you're going through, it's not going to last. It's a temporary phase. But the most important thing, I think, is that you need is to acknowledge that the world is changing. The way jobs are, the way things are going to happen is going to change, and you probably have to be prepared to acquire new skills and do what you have to do in a new way. So learning, adapting, is probably going to be the biggest key. So on that note, I want to ask you, Jayant, what do you think are the top 3 skills that people are going to need to master to survive in the coming year or coming few months?
Fluid mindset,
Okay.
and I call it a skill because it is a skill. Okay.
Okay. Explain fluid mindset.
Going with the flow. Okay,
Yeah.
it's something that entrepreneurs have it at their core, and they depend on it to take the plunge. Whether one likes it or not, okay, all of us have been turned into mini entrepreneurs from an attitudinal point of view at this point of time. Okay, and it comes at adopting that kind of a mindset. So fluid mindset, go with the flow. Okay, number one. Second is clear communication. Unfortunately, we Indians are, not the best of the communicators. Okay,
yes.
Clear articulation and communication. No matter what job you're doing, I mean, I don't care if you're a coder or I don't care if you're a sales guy or a marketeer or a project manager or a middle management guy. Okay, clear articulation and communication. Okay, some of the best CEOs that I know, can't articulate to save their lives. Okay, so that needs to change. Okay. And the third one, can't think of third one, man. So I think I'll stick to 2. These 2 are pretty big.
Yeah, these 2 are pretty big, right? Absolutely, like what you said. It's one thing to be able to communicate when you're in person. Another thing to be able to communicate across digital, barrier like the one which we have right now. So I think that's a very, very important skill which is going to come in handy, whether you're an accountant or whether you're a salesperson or something like that. You need to see how can you communicate without loss of data, loss of information, being able to transfer the intent and the emotion despite sitting tens or hundreds of kilometers away from each other. All right. So before we, I think,
and one thing, if you want me, I mean, if I may, I'd like to highlight is this is what I advise most of the startup entrepreneurs and founders that I advise, right? And this goes for the people who are looking for jobs or are this thing about their future as employees as well. Guys, understand this. Now in this remote working environment, it doesn't matter, if you're based in Bangalore or Himachal Pradesh or India. Don't look for jobs in your nearby community. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can be working for a kick-ass a startup or a good company out of Brazil. Okay, because all of us, whether we 2 kilometers away or 20,000 kilometers away, are a team. So as long as you're open, the third skill set I would say is adapting to different cultures. Okay, and knowing different cultures and working with different culture people. Right now, for the first time, the media will say that globalization is dead and everything, but when it comes to employees and knowledge workers, I think globalization is just about opening up. Okay, sitting in Bangalore in your PG, you need not be working for a company, in Whitefield or Electronic City or Sajapur Road or Jayanagar. You could be working for a company in Tel Aviv or Toronto or Vancouver. Okay, so your skill set is required globally. So expand your horizon. Okay, and that. So I
completely agree with you.
Yeah. I ask my startup founders to look for employees. I mean, I'm actually helping my founders, find guys from Turkey, Switzerland, UK, Toronto, and US. Right? Doesn't matter. Why do you have to hire someone in Bangalore? It's going to be remote any which ways.
Bang on. So my tech lead Neeraj is right now sitting and working out of Dhanbad. A very experienced product merchandise developer. Just came to Bangalore a couple of weeks back. For the last 3 months, he's been working from his hometown in Asansol in West Bengal. I think Bihar, West Bengal border. And my marketing guy Charles, he might be online right now. He's working from the last few months from his hometown somewhere near Coimbatore, if I'm not wrong. And my designer, he's been working from his hometown in Udupi for a while. So we've got a ton of people who've just spread around, right? And I think that's going to be happening to a lot of the corporates. If all the corporates who are probably going to be watching this video, a lot of I see a lot of our clients are onboarding employees wherever they are, and we are getting orders to fulfill their new joinee kits, right? And you will not believe the kind of places we are shipping these. I didn't know these towns exist, right? We only knew the major towns, right? So these people have moved back to their hometowns, and it's really, really convenient. All that you need is good quality Wi-Fi, and a good chair, table, and those kind of things, and you can work from anywhere, right? So it's really interesting times that we're in, and I think you've clearly conveyed all of those points. And on your social media, you keep using a hashtag, decades in weeks, something like that, right?
Yeah.
What is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
hashtag?
Okay, so this was Lenin who said that we live our lives with nothing happening for decades, and all of a sudden there are weeks where decades happen. So if you look at what's been happening around the world in the last 3 months, right? Across various domains, be it at the geopolitical level, be it at the healthcare level, be it at the education, our entire lives that we are living, psychological level, even all of a sudden realizing what's important, what's essential, and what's not. Okay, these kind of changes that happened in the last 3 months at the macro and the micro level, if they would have been driven in a very institutionalized manner, it would have taken a few decades to happen. Okay, but all of a sudden, okay, these changes happened within weeks, so that we moved decades within weeks. I mean, the example, the e-commerce example that I gave, 6 to 16% in 10 years, 16 to 27% in 10 weeks. Okay, so that's a good, data-based example of moving decades in weeks.
Absolutely. So I think change is going to happen real fast, right? We've been hearing a lot of quotes about Bhagavad Gita and the Gandhis and all these kind of things, where be the change that you want to see in the world, and change is the only constant in life, and so on. I think that is happening at a rapid pace, and the most important skill, according to me, that is required in the coming years is being able to cope with change and being able to adapt to change, more importantly. With that, I'm going to have one last question that I want to ask you, Jan, before I leave you. If you want to be able to work from home, what are the top accessories, or what is the most important? Like, I know from a mindset point of view and from a software point of view, there are a bunch of things, but what is it that you cannot work at home without it?
Outside of the main accessories, right?
My headphone with a external mic. I've not seen a lot of people using that. So what are the 3 things that you say, if I don't have it, it's very difficult?
Outside of the main electronic gadgets, laptops and this one you mentioned, right? What are the 3 things? So I'm a big pen and paper and whiteboard marker guy, so I need a whiteboard. Okay, a whiteboard and marker, number 1. A standing desk. Now with 3 months, working from home, sitting at this one, I'm craving for a standing desk or a height adjustable desk that you have at home office. Okay, that's the second thing. And third thing, I personally need a good webcam. I do a lot of these webinars and video meetings a lot, and not satisfied with the MacBook Pro webcam anymore. I need an external webcam, multi-sensor, hopefully better, multi-lens, multi-sensor better. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Like, if you're going to be doing a lot of calls, we have a lot of interesting products coming up. We have fake backgrounds, like you said. If people are going to be living in front of the webcam, right, you definitely need a webcam, but you also need a lot of interesting backgrounds. I'll give you a background, walls, and if you're going to have a party, I'm going to give you a disco kind of a background and all of that stuff. So some interesting products are coming in. Probably the other thing you need is this light. You see, this is a light which I'm using to
I definitely need that. I mean, you might not realize it, but there's a light on my face all along this one, but it's not showing very clearly, obviously. So I need the one that you have. Okay, the one that I bought 4 weeks back is useless. Okay.
Yeah. Sending you one very soon. All right, Jan, thank you so much. It was amazing fun speaking to you, and it was really, really insightful. I like the way you said, no matter what happens, stay calm. I think that is the most important advice that people need in these times. So I thoroughly enjoyed speaking to you. Thank you so much for coming on to Office 2.0, the future. Look forward to seeing you sometime soon.
Likewise,
and audience, thank you very much, everybody, for coming live. I hope it's been worth your time. See you soon on next Friday. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.